Hi, I'm Shane Jones. Making headlines tonight. People's Assemblies to be established as government moves to give Barbadians a greater say in the decision-making process. New efforts to help people in Barbados and the region cope in the aftermath of natural disasters. Changes in the works at the Barbados National Standards Institution. And coming up in sports, New Zealand upsets India to storm into the Cricket World Cup finals.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
Leading the news at 7, a major step has been taken to give Barbadians an avenue to participate more fully in the country's decision-making process. It has come with the launch of the Thorne Commission on Local Governance, which will oversee the establishment of community-based People's Assemblies. Ryan Brooms joins us live now with the details. Good evening, Ryan.
Good evening, Shane. Good evening, viewers. Well, the 11-member commission is chaired by Member of Parliament for Christchurch South, Ralph Thorne. Now, Barbados' ambassador to CARICOM, David Commissiong, is his deputy. Speaking during the opening ceremony, Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley said the idea is to empower citizens by giving them a voice.
I am prepared to accept that for Barbados to develop, that we need to empower our people. We need to include our people. We need to create the platforms for participation. That does not mean that a government doesn't govern, because at the end of the day, an executive is called the executive because it is required to execute. It is required to take decisions. But taking decisions in a vacuum, without consultation, without caring, without sensitivity to our realities, is not the model of development that we want to pursue.
Now, Shane, you may remember that the establishment of People's Assemblies was actually a BLP manifesto promise. But Prime Minister Motley has made it clear partisan politics will have no place in the selection of representatives to sit on these assemblies.
There were those within my own party who were upset that People's Assemblies were not restricted to partisan platforms. And I refuse to succumb to that, because for us, a People's Assembly had to be exactly that, a People's Assembly. And it had to give voice to people irrespective of whether they supported us, were vehemently opposed to us, or were neutral. Because if all voices do not contend, then we do not know how to be able to create the consensus in a society that is necessary for sustainable progress and sustainable development.
Now, the Prime Minister also revealed that the establishment of People's Assemblies was part one of the restructuring of governance systems. Now, the next part will be parliamentary reform. Chairman of the Commission, Ralph Thorne, revealed that there would be 20 assemblies spread across the 11 parishes. St. Michael, for example, would have 4, and the parish of Christchurch 3. Now, citizens would nominate and vote for the individual they want to represent them. This process will be done with some input by the Electoral and Boundaries Commission.
The members of our commission have wrought from our intellects, as I said, and from our individual and collective experiences, a basic structure of local government. However, from today we turn to the public, whose ideas will complete this architecture that will transform governance and local government in this country.
And officials from statutory corporations will also sit on the assemblies so that citizens can pose questions or make complaints about the delivery of service. As for the difference between the current system of governance and what is being proposed by the Commission, Deputy Chair David Commissiong had this to say.
We're going to have community forums where the People's Assembly is going to come together with members of the community, with the members of Parliament for the People Assembly area. You're going to discuss legislation that is pending, bills that are pending before the Parliament. You're going to discuss national affairs, and ideas will emanate from the community forums that will be institutionally funneled back to the House of Assembly and Senate for their engagement.
And in terms of how this process will get underway, over the next few months, the Commission will be consulting with public and private sector organizations, trade unions, educational institutions, and members of the public on the establishment of People's Assemblies. Once finished, a report will be handed over to Parliament for final consideration. It's back over to you, Shane.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Two major deficiencies have been identified in the region's response mechanism in the aftermath of the hurricanes that devastated some Caribbean countries 2 years ago. One of them is people's level of mental preparedness, and the other, the vulnerability of healthcare facilities across the region. Our Lisa Broom explains.
Barbadians and their neighbors in the region have started to respond to appeals to be prepared during the hurricane season. But what about their mental preparation in the aftermath of a disaster? According to PAHO and WHO, many people are not handling these crises well. To address the problem, they've launched a project in conjunction with the Caribbean Development Bank called Stronger Together to help build people's mental and psychosocial resilience to cope with the impacts of natural hazard events.
We have now a register of psychological first aiders which are ready to be deployed, but we also need to ensure that whatever we do with the medical teams in the field hospital is also linked with the psychological first aid register so that the teams can go out together both as a physical medical team, so to look after the bodies, but also importantly as well to look after the minds.
Another finding is that most countries in the region have one main hospital, which can easily be rendered inoperable in a disaster. And that's why they've set up the region's first field hospital in conjunction with the Barbados Defense Force.
The medical teams that are being trained with the collaboration of the Barbados Defense Force are going to be an important component of our first response and our emergency response. The EMT will hopefully be certified by WHO later this month or early August, so it will be a globally recognized emergency medical team. And after that, we will progress to also having this as an EMT level 2.
Health Minister Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic says this type of training is ideal for the island since Barbadians have never dealt with a national disaster.
We have not had the impact, whether by earthquake, volcano, or hurricanes, that several of our sister countries in the regions have experienced. And so our people as a population, as a country, our people are not exposed in the way maybe that the first responders would have had when they've rendered assistance abroad. Our people are not used to this or have not been exposed to it, so it's going to hit, if it happens, in a more significant way.
Lisa Broom, CBC News.
A new governance structure is being developed for the Barbados National Standards Institution. The move, according to Minister of Small Business, Entrepreneurship and Commerce Dwight Sutherland, is part of efforts to improve Barbados' national quality infrastructure. He made the revelation at a regional training workshop on the Economic Partnership Agreement. It was organized by the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality at the Baobab Towers in Warrens.
Over the last 2 months, an interim board and members have met to look at amending the current bylaws of the Barbados National Standard Institution towards electing a full board and committee structure. We have also focused on building good human resource base with enhanced training, and indeed we'll be rolling out a new public education campaign and public relations plan.
Mr. Sutherland says a new laboratory is on the cards to complement the soon-to-be enacted metrology legislation. Metrology is the science of measurement and includes all theoretical and practical aspects of measurement.
One of the key components of a national quality infrastructure is metrology. And as a member of the CARIFORUM EU EPA agreement, it is our responsibility to ensure that our micro, small, and medium enterprises are protected through standards, technical regulations, conformity assessment procedures, such as testing, calibration, inspection, certification, packaging, and labeling. Indeed, as my ministry moves full speed ahead to enact the historic new metrology legislation, the modernization of our national quality infrastructure will be complemented by the thrust of this workshop, set to intrinsically to achieve in seeking to build a better Barbados and region.
Barbadian lawyer and regional jurist Francis Bell is one of 4 new half-time judges appointed to the UN Dispute Tribunal. This was disclosed today by spokesperson for President of the General Assembly, Monica Grayley. There were 7 candidates from Barbados, Brazil, Germany, the Netherlands, Malawi, Trinidad and Tobago, and Uganda. Joint international Bashment soca kings King Bubba, FM, and SK both have 30,000 reasons to smile. The winners of last weekend's International Bashment Soca Monarch, put on by 4D Entertainment, officially collected their winnings yesterday. The two seemed in good spirits despite rumors of controversy over the tie that set social media platforms abuzz. Last year's winner, Lil Rick, was second and his son, Underdog, was third. An appeal has been made for Barbadian dancers to be given the recognition they deserve. It's coming from Assistant Public Relations Officer of the Livy and Betty Allen Ballroom Dance Center, Deborah Waite-Jones. She says local dancers continue to represent Barbados well at a number of international competitions, including the prestigious Blackpool Dance Festival in the United Kingdom.
We have a cadre of dancers who would go down to the World Championships, and over the years they too have been making their mark there. We actually have most of our dancers there have actually earned World Championships. I haven't heard a lot of persons mention them, but they've done outstanding work.
Ms. Waite-Jones was speaking to CBC ahead of the 11th Legends of the Dance Floor competition, which comes off this Saturday at the St. Leonard's Boys' School. It is open to dancers from all clubs and at all levels. At least 60 couples are expected to compete, but Ms. Waite-Jones says individual dancers are also welcome.
There's some persons who've been shying away from certain art forms because the type of dancing you do usually require you to have a partner. So introducing this into Barbados is simply following lead to the reason why it was done overseas in the first place, to give those persons who want to be competitive dancers but do not have a partner of their own to share a partner and be able to compete within their own right.
Checking in with our regional neighbors now, the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Response Agency and the islands of the Dutch-speaking Caribbean have extended their relationship with the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding with the Netherlands. SEDEMA has provided the Dutch-speaking Caribbean with assistance after natural disasters for a number of years. Speaking during the signing ceremony at SEDEMA's Lower Estate headquarters, Prime Minister of St. Martin, Leona Marlon Romeo, said it's another positive step.
It shows that the willingness of the Kingdom of the Netherlands to work with SEDEMA as it relates to quick responses, being able to give the resources that the Netherlands have to this region. And I believe indeed it's the first step in the direction of where we want to go as St. Martin for full membership in SEDEMA. And I'm very much pleased with the outcome today.
The increase in vehicular accidents continue to worry officials in Grenada. The police force is saying there are several factors that contribute to the accidents.
Officials of the Royal Grenada Police Force are reporting of an upsurge in motor vehicle accidents for 2019. Superintendent of Police Vanny Cohen, officer responsible for the Community Relations Department, says data from the Traffic Department states that of May 31st, a total of 997 accidents were recorded, 5 of which were fatal. Cohen, during a special interview this morning, says the RGPF is concerned about the spiraling of these accidents, while noting that the month of May has raised alarm for the traffic department. He noted that the use of cell phones and excessive speeding on the nation's road are 2 of the major reasons for vehicular accidents. In light of this, the traffic department has heightened its action towards combating the causes of these accidents.
We have employed various measures to combat and reduce the accident rate. There are a number of things that we are doing, a number of strategies that we are employing, which includes increasing our speed checks, stepping up on the issuance of our fixed penalty tickets and our wheel clamps, and we are showing more presence on the road as a means of deterring drivers and reducing these accidents.
Protection of Ghana's wildlife species is on the front burner for the Ghana Wildlife Conservation and Management Commission as more cases of unlawful interaction with the country's endangered species continues to be reported.
The Ghana Wildlife Conservation and Management Commission receives notices every day of cases of unlawful interaction with wildlife. This is according to the legal officer of the Commission, Samuel Glasgow, who highlighted that there are at least 20 reported killings of jaguars each year for the unlawful purpose of trophy killing and export of body parts. He said the Ghana Wildlife Commission is a small but mighty force that is moving to sensitize the public in terms of the role that these species play and to let people know that there are penalties in place for exploitation.
We passed the place where we could be ignorant about these things. No longer could we say that we don't know that there are laws in place, because ignorance of the law is no excuse. So it's a force that is moving. We have a monitoring department that's currently on the move with respect to sensitizing the people of Guyana.
Some endangered species residing in Ghana's rainforests include the scarlet macaw, jaguars, the harpy eagle, and the black caiman.